Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing the best and worst Chanel beauty launches of 2023. I went through my drawers and I pulled out everything that I purchased last year, and it's a lot. Chanel's always the exception to the no-buy rule. Even still, it was the first thing that struck me was just how many collections launched last year. And there were a lot of really special standout pieces. So overall, I think 2023 was one of the strongest years for Chanel Beauty. Plenty of hits, but there were still a few misses, so we're gonna talk about everything. The first launch of 2023 was the Spring-Summer collection, where we got these oversized face and eye palettes. This was really exciting because even though we had seen the oversized compacts before, the previous year they did the Giantly Beige bronzers for summer. There was an oversized highlighter with the holiday collection, but this was the first palette for both face and eyes that I can remember from Chanel. The lighter palette here reminds me a lot of one of their eyeshadow palettes. This is 957 Tendresse. You have this gorgeous pinky peach highlighter, the bronzer shade, a peach blush, and the deeper color could be an eyeshadow, could also work as a blush on tan skin. And then the darker palette is 958 Caractère. This one has a stunning gold highlighter, and the red shade looks really intimidating in the pan, but could easily be diffused on the cheeks for a blush. And then you have the berry and the deeper mauve, which would be beautiful as eyeshadows, and all of these powders can be used on cheeks or eyes. I really like both color stories. They're incredibly wearable, perfect for spring, summer makeup, and I love that Chanel brought us something different. This was so unexpected. While they might not be all-time favorite products for me, I'm still really happy I picked both of these up. This was probably my favorite piece. Now, this really took me by surprise because I've collected so many balm essential sticks, and while they look really pretty on the skin, in practice, I just don't really grab for them. I don't know what it is about my makeup routine, or maybe I just don't have them within eyesight, but it's just not the first product I go to grab whenever I'm doing highlighter on the face. But the Rouge Frais that came out with this collection has so much pigment to it that you can actually use this as a blush, and because it's red or rouge, it gives you that really pretty sun-kissed, almost a faux sunburn look on the skin. It's so pretty over the summer. It still has the same balmy texture, so it glides on really nicely and it leaves sort of a glassy glow to the skin, but I just love the shade of this one. Rouge Frais is hands down my favorite balm essential. Definitely one of my favorite launches of the year, but it's not going to be for everybody. This stick works really nicely for summer makeup. I know a lot of us are probably in our cold girl era, so we might have to wait to pull this back out, but absolutely love this. It reminds me of vacation. Next was the LeBlanc collection with these beautiful pastels. This is definitely another one of my favorite launches of 2023. This is the Fantasie de Chanel Illuminating Blush Powder. So beautiful. It's the prettiest pale pink with a silvery swirl mixed in. It could be a blush or a blush topper, but actually has a little bit more pink than you might expect. I remember seeing some of the photos before I received mine, and it looked so silvery. I was surprised by how pink it was. Perfect for spring and for the year of Barbie, and I love the design embossed on top. You have the tweed background with the CCs. It's always bittersweet when pieces like this are limited edition because you always want the option to purchase them, and you almost feel like you have to save compacts like this. They're too pretty to use, but it's also too pretty not to use. Just a gorgeous blush. And the eyeshadow palette number 68, Délice, this reminds me of Easter candy. Kind of looks similar to the two eyeshadow quads that I think we should be getting soon. It's vibrant, it's happy, bright pastels. It's so different and unique than what we typically get. Not as wearable color story as the face eye palette from Spring Summer, but still really fun and festive. I find myself drawn to these colors anyway, even though I don't wear a lot of pastels. And I knew before I even purchased this palette, it wasn't going to be something that I was going to grab all the time. And the LeBlanc eyeshadow palettes like this are meant to create softer looks, so it's exactly what I expected it to be. I'm still really happy I picked it up because it is so unique. I also picked up both Balm Essentials. People went crazy for these on social media. This is shade Lilas and Drage. Very pretty. Didn't get a lot of use out of them. I still prefer my Rouge Frais. Somebody has to stop me from buying any more Balm Essentials this year because I just don't get enough use out of them. Pretty colors though, especially this one, Lilas, because it's iridescent. I also picked up some really pretty lipsticks with this collection. We had Rouge Cocoa Bomb in 930 Sweet Treat, the Rouge Allure Ink in 238 Temptation, and Rouge Allure Ink 236 Gourmandise. As much as I love these colors, this was a lesson learned, and after this collection, I stopped picking up as many lipsticks because I just don't wear them. And then we had the expansion of the No. 1 de Chanel line with these skin enhancers. We have 3 different shades. I picked up all 3. This is the Red Camellia Skin Enhancer in Soft Pink, Medium Coral, and Intense Amber. I did not see this coming, and it does still feel like a pretty redundant launch for Chanel. Although the No. 1 de Chanel Skin Enhancer does contain skincare ingredients, it's meant to be more natural, it still feels similar to the Beiges Liquid Illuminators or the Illuminating Primer. I really like them. They're very subtle on the skin. I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but as I'm sitting here looking at all 3, I feel like maybe this is Chanel's version of a Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, maybe? So I'm not sure. This product confused me a little bit. I do really like it. I don't know if I would consider this to be an essential in my makeup routine. I do really like the recyclability and sustainability of the No. 1 de Chanel line. I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll get a No. 1 de Chanel concealer in 2024. Since we have the foundation, we now have a primer illuminator. I think concealer would be the natural progression. That could be really exciting. And that brings us to summer. The Les Beiges Summer Collection is usually one of my favorites of the year. Les Beiges and Holiday are the 2 collections I always look forward to most. Even though we didn't get anything new, just minis in 2023, I still think this is one of the best collections because these are essentials but travel friendly. I picked up the Les Beiges Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream in 392 Soleil Tan Medium Bronze. And this does have a different list of ingredients. It's a slightly different formula than the full size. And then we also had a mini version of the Les Beiges Illuminating Oil for face, body, and hair. I also picked up the jumbo size bottle the year before, and it's so nice. I also picked up the travel-friendly Water Fresh tint. I think it's in a makeup bag somewhere, but I think that was a great product as well. If I had to choose a favorite, I would say this bronzer. I really like this formula, whatever they did to tweak it. I think it's great. But I also think it's just the perfect size. I actually think this is maybe even a better size because these cream bronzers last such a long time, and because it's more natural, they are supposed to expire within a year. So if it's not something that you're going to use every single day as soon as you open it, at least if you go with the smaller version, it might not be the best value or the better value, but you have a better chance of actually using it all up before it expires. I wouldn't say this is one of my favorite Les Beiges collections, even though I'm super happy with everything I purchased. I feel like these were more staple products. The Codes Couleur collection has to be my favorite launch of 2023 because it was filled with so many bright, colorful collectibles. We have this travel brush set, the nail file, the compact mirror. I felt like I had to truly restrain myself from picking up everything. I wanted it all. And that's when you know you're making a great purchase, when you cannot contain your excitement. You just want everything. And I heard from plenty of people who weren't really all that fussed with Codes Couleur because they didn't really care about the collectibles. They didn't want a nail file or a compact or the little travel brush cases. And that's totally normal. Not everything is going to really speak to everyone. And this collection came 1 year after the Factory 5 collection, which I also really liked, and I picked up a bunch of stuff from that. So I'm kind of curious what big July launch they're going to have this year that will counter the numbers from last year. I really loved the inspiration behind this collection, paying tribute or honoring some of their most iconic colors that aren't the traditional color codes of the house. So the original color codes are white, black, red, gold, and beige. But in Chanel Beauty, Ballerina and Diva are 2 really popular colors that they've had for a long time. They almost always have a nail polish or a lipstick to go with that shade. There are so many iconic colors in the House of Chanel, not just the 5 color codes. So this was a really fun collection, and I'm so happy with everything I purchased. We're now about halfway through the year, so it's time for some misses, and I already know you're gonna be so unhappy with me, but I have to tell it like it is and share my honest opinion. The fall collection in 2023 was not one of my favorites. And even though I wouldn't say it's one of those collections I always look forward to, it's usually very strong. So I was kind of taken aback this year. I thought it was very pretty visually. I just knew that they were not my colors. That's all it is. I seriously contemplated skipping these blushes altogether. I am happy I picked them up because I did end up liking them a lot more than I thought I was going to, and they're just pretty to look at. I have plenty of compacts from Chanel that are gorgeous and I don't touch them, and these have sort of joined that group. So the tan one is the Douceur de Equinox in 797 Beige et Coral. This goes on a little bit more like a peachy bronze. And then this one is the 798 Beige Rosé et Mauve. This is more of a berry mauve tone. I was really light-handed when I used this. It still ended up looking a little bruisey on my cheek. You have to be very light-handed just because it is a bit deeper. And that's okay. For some people with the right skin tone, this is going to be beautiful. I ended up using it a handful of times after the first review, and it was okay. I liked it, but it's not love. I don't think either of these shades are all that flattering for my skin tone. So while I appreciate them, and I think on other people they were probably gorgeous, it's not my personal favorite collection. Now, this is the worst launch from Chanel in 2023, and it's going to be no surprise if you watched my review. It's this loose eyeshadow. What do they call this? This is the Ombre Premier Libre. I picked up one shade, 402. I think they came out with maybe 5 different shades. It's a loose eyeshadow, and the shades are not bad. The applicator and the tube is not the best, and I think they look okay on the eyes. I had so much pushback from my review because people were really upset, and I kept hearing people say, well, so-and-so used it and the eyeshadow looked pretty. But the problem isn't that this eyeshadow is ugly. It's still Chanel makeup. It's just not worth the price in my opinion. I believe these were $40 each. It's a little bit messy, and I don't think it's all that spectacular. Can you create a pretty eyeshadow look using these loose powders? Yeah, you probably could. And if I really wanted to, I could commit to using this entire thing up, and I would hate every second of it, but I definitely could use this eyeshadow to make a pretty eyeshadow look. It would not be my first preference to work with these eyeshadows, so I can't recommend it. They were supposed to be intense and long wearing, and I didn't find them to be all that intense either. So I didn't really like the finish. They're not matte, they're not shimmery or metallic, it's kind of a satin finish. Just not really special. Because it's a loose eyeshadow, your brain almost tells you, oh, it's going to be an intense pigment, so you're expecting a lot of payoff, but it's not. They're very dusty. I was so disappointed by these. It's almost as if they took some of their old dusty eyeshadows from the quads and just crushed them up, pulverized it into dust, and then stuck it in a tube. I'm so glad I listened to my intuition when I was in the store and I only picked up one. That way I only wasted $40. But 40 bucks is 40 bucks. I mean, that's still very expensive for an eyeshadow that you're not all that pleased with. For the right person, I'm sure this is ideal. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who love this eyeshadow. It just didn't work for me. This started the redemption arc, the launch of 31 Le Rouge, the special lipsticks from Chanel. I feel so lucky I was able to get my hands on one of the coffret sets. So it comes with this wooden box. I took out the insert. It comes with the mirror as well. So there was an insert for the lipsticks, but I think I might use this to store other things. So I took that part out. It was just cardboard, and it comes with a leather case. I went with silver and 2 refills. I also purchased a one-off so I would have the felt case as well. So I ended up with 4 different shades of the 31 Le Rouge. And this is a very expensive lipstick. It's meant to be collectible. It has a beautiful story. Does that mean I think it's essential to spend $200 on a lipstick? Absolutely not. In terms of the shades, the texture of the lipstick, they're very comparable to the Rouge Allure. What I really love is that it's something special. I like the case. I like the fact that they're refillable. The packaging is made out of glass, and it's a very heavy feeling lipstick. The combination of glass, silver, and gold looks so stunning and very dazzling. and it was inspired by the mirrored Art Deco staircase in Coco Chanel's apartment in Paris. This is a special occasion lipstick. It's not something you just purchase on a whim, but I think it's nice if you're marking a special occasion. Like if I were a bride, I know for my wedding I had a YSL lipstick that I had engraved with the wedding date. If this were available when I got married, I might splurge on one of these lipsticks and just hold on to it because it has the collectible case. Or if I were celebrating an anniversary or a birthday, or if I were giving a gift to somebody and I knew they loved Chanel or I knew they loved makeup. They've been really popular during award season. All of the makeup artists that work with Chanel have been using the 31 Le Rouge lipstick, which always surprises me. They almost never use the Le Rouge Duo Ultra Tenue, which in my mind, I think that is the perfect special occasion lipstick. If I were going on a red carpet, I would want something really long lasting. But this has been the lipstick of choice. Like Margot Robbie wore Rouge Beige for the Golden Globes. Brie Larson, Emily Blunt, there have been a couple other celebrities wearing this lipstick shade, and then more recently, Kirsten Dunst was wearing Rouge Fetiche, which is one of the reds that I have. They're really easy to swap out. You just click the new shade in there. So this is the red that Kirsten Dunst was wearing on the red carpet. And of course, they're getting their makeup done by makeup artists. It's not like they're going out and buying these lipsticks themselves, but I do think it's cool to see them featured and it made me happy. And then we have the holiday collection, which was so sparkly. I loved holiday 2023. Inspired by 1950s flappers and their sequins, this eyeshadow palette is so perfect for holiday parties, for a night out on the town, for smoky eyes, for dramatic looks. Still neutrals, so somewhat wearable. I think this is one of the most user-friendly, dramatic palettes out there. And the finish of these eyeshadows was spectacular. I love, love, love this eyeshadow palette. The highlighter is so glittery. It's so bright and blinding. I actually think this is really pretty on the eyes, more so than the cheeks, just because it is so bright. The design was so beautiful. Not one of the more wearable highlighters, but if you didn't love this, Chanel launched so many highlighters at the end of the year, you had options. We also have the Sublimage Le Concentre Lumiere and the Symbol de Chanel highlighters. I picked up 2 of these. Even though the shades were not unique, I think the designs on top were really beautiful. They come with a lot of product. If you picked up the oversized highlighters from the previous holiday collection, or if you have a large collection of highlighters, I think this would probably be an easy skip. I picked up 2 because I think they're just pretty to look at and I like to collect them. It did feel a bit like overkill with all of the pieces they had just launched, including the sparkly highlighter with the holiday collection. It feels like they rushed this a little bit. Like they could have waited and brought this out in 2024. And then I love this highlighter. This is such a pretty liquid illuminator. Absolutely a splurge. This goes in the same category as 31 Le Rouge. It's beautiful, it's special. Is it essential to do your makeup? Absolutely not. Of all the liquid illuminators from Chanel, this is actually the most sparkly and it also contains skincare. So sort of a funny product. And finally, they tried to cut me off from shopping, but they were unsuccessful. The last collection I was able to purchase towards the end of 2023 was this Les Beiges Healthy Winter Glow. I did not see this coming and I love it. Now that we've been seeing more promo images from the campaign, I feel even more inspired to use these items because the cold girl makeup looks so gorgeous on their models. This cool Les Beiges eyeshadow palette is really pretty. I don't typically wear a lot of purples. I love this iridescent shimmer in here. It goes on nice and soft. It's very easy to use and I'm really impressed by the quality of these eyeshadows. The blushes are really interesting. They go on so sheer, but you can build them up. The colors are gorgeous. They look so natural. Instead of giving a sun-kissed cheek, it gives you that après-ski coming in from the cold where your cheeks and your nose are a little bit pink. Very cute, icy, ice queen type of makeup. When I first saw sneak peek images in the preview, I thought, oh no. More blushes. These look like the same old colors. It's going to be exactly identical to what I already have. The formula is very different with these and I actually really like it. When you apply them, and maybe it's because they are so sheer, it just looks so seamless on the cheek. as if you can't even see that you have blush on. It looks that natural. I love it. I also picked up all 3 of the Beiges Healthy Winter Glow moisturizing and protective primers. I don't know what I was thinking here. I easily could have just picked up one. I think they're very pretty. They're very light. It's like a lightweight gel with a hint of luminosity to them. They're very pretty and I like them beneath makeup. I like that they're a moisturizing gel. That way they don't feel really heavy or greasy. That is everything I purchased from Chanel in 2023. The only collection I skipped entirely was the Beiges eyeshadow palette collection. There were 4 eyeshadow palettes. I think they looked much prettier in pictures than they did in person. And I heard mixed reviews. Some people said they were really sheer and disappointing. Other people said they were stunning. I'm happy with my decision to skip because then I could save money for something that I was really excited about, like my coffret set with the lipsticks. I have to be at least a little excited to purchase the makeup, otherwise it seems like a waste because I'll only use it once for the review and then never touch it again. I don't want to shop that way. I don't want any of you to shop that way either. And Chanel has so many great products that if there's something you're not really that interested in, there will be something else pretty soon launching down the road. I mean, there's always something incredible. So that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you liked seeing all of the pieces I picked up last year. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I want to hear from you. What were your favorite or least favorite launches from Chanel in 2023? Drop me a comment. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.